There's a right way and a wrong way to organize a company. There's a right level in a company for an organization, for a person to go, and there's a right level for a task to go. These things are knowable and they can be placed in a rational manner. And if we do that, then our companies are going to be a lot more efficient. I've been interested in organizational behavior for 20 years, since I was in psychology in undergrad, and I picked up a book on organizational behavior. So ever since then, as I've worked with companies, started my own companies, worked with various organizations, I've been trying to understand what I can about management theory, about the psychological, sociological, philosophical, and information theory underpinnings to organizational theory, and put that into practice. And the one framework that I use more than any other comes from Elliott Jacques. It's a framework called Requisite Organization. And over a series of short videos, I'm going to give an introduction with just a general introduction today, and then we'll go from there to introductions to the different components, specifically the different levels, the hierarchy that the organization should be formatted to, and then application to various other frameworks and to specific types of business problems. What is requisite organization and how is it constructed? I want you to think with me for a moment of every organization, every business as an information processing machine. This is more obvious when we look at an organization that operates within the digital realm, within the informational realm. But it's true as well in an extended way if we have a company that is working in the world of matter, making widgets or moving physical objects around. The primary function that any organization has is to process information, to take information in from its environment and to put information out, or use that information in order to manipulate an output that a customer perceives as valuable. If that's the case, if the organization is an information processing machine, then it would make sense that we would organize this business, this organization, according to the nodes that are needed to process information in various ways. So I want you to think back with me to high school psychology or college psychology when we were talking about people like Piaget, who, as they examined children's development, they described in actually a mathematical way the way that children move through stages in their abilities to process information. So what Elliott Jacques does is he extends those stages into adulthood and through the various levels of career advancement, even through advanced levels of business leadership. He maps that to methods of information processing, and he gives us tools for breaking those down. He posits that each level in the organization should and must correspond to a state change in the ability to process information from between one person and another. Now that's pretty abstract, so let me break it down. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been reporting to someone, your boss, who you feel is really not able to add value to your work because they don't get it any more than you do? Maybe they're good people, maybe they give decent advice, maybe they've been around longer, but ultimately they can figure out about what you can figure out. Or have you ever had the reverse experience where you're trying to supervise someone and you've been there longer, but you don't really know more than them, or you aren't able to process at a higher capacity, so you're not able to add value to your work. The reversal of that situation is if you're supervising someone, or you're being supervised by someone who is too far above or too far below your ability to process information. If your boss is 2 levels above you, then you'll have the feeling that you're not being really given good direction. That they're talking about some things, but they seem abstract. They don't really help you in what you're trying to figure out. Or if that person is too far below you as the boss, I'm reversing here, that you're being pulled down into the weeds. You're being asked to solve things that are just so mundane and routine and mind-numbing that you can hardly even give them a good answer. So if you've had any of those experiences, you can maybe start to imagine how it is actually the levels of information processing that would correspond to the levels in the hierarchy of an organization. Now, I know that a lot of organizations have tried to get away from hierarchy, that we've had talks about matrices, circles, self-organizing teams, all sorts of things that would seem to belie this idea that organization naturally should function in a hierarchy. And we'll discuss some of these. There's some truth to it, and there's a lot of total BS. But again, getting back to the basic structure, I think this is really someone to be taken seriously. It's something that you can apply across the board. When I talk to clients, usually in our first or second meeting, I'm giving them a basic primer on requisite organization, not just because I like talking about it, but because we're solving a specific business problem and we need to know how the information processing machine can work more efficiently. So whether you're hiring, you're being hired, you're restructuring, you're doing short-term or long-term planning, you're building systems, you're responding to market maneuvers, whatever is going on, this is a framework that I think can help you. That was a basic introduction to Elliott Jaques' requisite organization. And in future videos, we will talk through each of the levels, how to assess people for those levels, how they're deployed within your organization, and then how we apply the framework into specific industries, types of work, and other management theories and frameworks that we work with.